Hi everybody, it's Cathryn from In the Pink Designs. My project today is a box that measures 5 by 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. Alrighty, I used the Friendly Gnomes stamp set for the mushroom and the little squirrel. I just wanted to use those two things, not necessarily the gnomes, because I just thought they were both so cute. So I put them on there. I also used the layering circle dies for the scallop and the stylish shapes dies for the stitched circle and the sentiment. I also used for the top of this, which I really like, the Very Best Trio Punch. And we're using this one right here, and there's a specific way you have to put it in and then flip it over to do the other side. You can't just, I'll show you when we get to it. So inside here you can also put a clip on here if you don't want to have to tie a bow. I have something that my son will be very happy about, a Nestle Crunch egg. He doesn't like all the filled eggs that the rest of us like, and this year I found Nestle Crunch eggs, so he's going to be so happy that he gets an egg-shaped thing too. And also I put a lip balm, and the lip balm is from this 5-pack here. I think it was $3.99 from Marshall's, and it has 5 different flavor lip balms. I like the packaging, got me with the little bunnies and the pom-pom tails. So that's what will fit in there, but it's not quite tall enough. Well, maybe, let's see. No. Well, you could close it, but the tip of the top is going to stick out. It's wide enough for 2 bottles, but they're a little bit, about a 1/4 inch too tall for this. But that gives you an idea of what will fit in here. Okay. It's a little bit wider than usual. I did a 1 1/4. So anything that's extra chubby, you can fit in. Okay, this is my host code. Please put that in if you're going to spend anything under $150 on my website. That's linked below. All right, what we need for this project is some Balmy blue cardstock that is 8.5 by 6.5. We need, both of these circles are made out of cut out of the thick basic white cardstock. We need a scalloped one from the layering circle dies that's about 2 1/4, and a stitched one from the stylish shapes dies that's about 2 1/8. Okay, we need some. Now this is the Awash in Beauty Designer Series paper, which is kind of a throwback, but I'm thinking it'll probably be retired, so I wanted to use it, a little bit of it. Maybe it won't, but I have a feeling it will. Oh, also this little tag from the Stylish Shapes dies also. Okay, so from the Awash in Beauty DSP, we need 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 3.5, and 2 pieces that are 1 by 3.5. All right, so let me get my Simply Scored. And we're going to start on the 8.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/4, 4, 5 1/4, and 8. And then we're going to turn it to the 6.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/4, 5, and 5 3/4. And I'm going to fold and burnish all of the score lines. Okay, how I have this sitting is that the skinniest rectangle is on the right. There is a 1 1/4 strip at the bottom and a 3/4 strip at the top. And this is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so we're going to start on the left-hand side, go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of that square. And we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge each side of the square. we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the first score line, and wedge up into the rectangle above it. Okay, now we're going to turn it around. The skinny rectangle is now on the left. We're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the second score line, and then wedge up into the skinny rectangle. Okay, next score line, cut it to the second score line, next score line, cut it to the second score line. We're going to take away this rectangle that's on the bottom and wedge each side of this rectangle on the top. Okay, now we're going to go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, take that lower rectangle off, and wedge each side of the rectangle that's left. All right, now we're going to bring in our very best trio punch, and we're going to be using this side here. Okay, so I have it how the triangle is over here and the side we're going to use is right next to it. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put in what we want, just fold anything that's keeping it from being flush, and we're going to punch it. Now if we just went like this, it's going to punch differently. So to punch this side, we have to flip it over, just fold anything that's in your way, and punch it again, and then it comes out symmetrical. Okay, so on the next one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to start on the right side, punch it, and then move to the left side. We're going to flip it over, almost did it wrong, and get the same. Okay, and this is what your cardstock should look like after you're done scoring it, and cutting the corners with the very best trio punch. All right, now we're going to use some tear and tape. And we're going to put it on what's left of the skinny rectangle next to the score line. I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to take the backing off. Okay, we're going to flip the whole thing over, fold over the side that has the tape, and then the other side to meet it. Okay, so now this is the back of our box. So I'm going to put the sides down and put just a little bit of glue on them. Fold them down, and then some glue on the back of the front flap. Just make sure the sides are nice and straight, and hold it a minute. Then when that's finished, just take your pick tool and make sure that you press down on those two flaps so they get adhered nicely. All right, and that's the box. Now we need our DSP. And we're going to put the two pieces that are 2.5 by 3.5 on the front and back, and the two pieces that are 1 by 3.5 on the sides. And I'm going to use liquid glue. Now let's do some stamping while that dries. First, we're going to get our circle from, I use the thick cardstock because it's just as smooth, and then it makes it a little stiffer on here, especially the thick for the scallop. The scalloped, again, layering circle dies 2 1/4. The stitched one is from the Stylish Shapes dies 2 1/8. So I'm just going to use a background in case I go off. And we're going to use the mushroom image. And I'm just going to stamp that. Okay, good. And then on the small tag, I'm going to stamp Love You. Good. Okay. So now we can do some coloring. Alrighty. I'm going to be using light and dark smoky slate, light and dark Daffodil Delight, and then light Old Olive, polished pink, fresh freesia, and balmy blue. Oh, I didn't do the, oh my goodness gracious, I forgot to stamp the squirrel. Okay, the squirrel is the only thing that I fussy cut. Good. All right. Okay, I'm just going to fussy cut our squirrel out. Okay. All right, so first let's do the mushroom. And I'm going to do the top spots with light Daffodil Delight. Okay, and the bottom of the mushroom. I know my Daffodil Delight marker is in pretty bad shape, this one, but I know there's going to be a color refresh, so I don't want to get them until I know if they're going to have these, you know. All right, and then dark Daffodil Delight is going to go on the underside of the mushroom. Okay. Then we're going to use light polished pink. I'm going to use that for the windowsill and the door, the jam, I guess it's the door jamb and the doorknob, and then around all of the spots in the top of the mushroom. I did say that the gnome dies were gone. No, apparently I looked and they're coming back. They're being ordered, so hopefully you'll be able to get them soon if you want those. All right, now for the flowers and the door, I'm going to be using light fresh freesia. And for the window, I'm going to use light balmy blue. We'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, and then light old olive for the grass and the leaves. But before I do that, let me come in with light smoky slate and do these little cobblestones or slate pieces, something like that. All right. Now I'm just going to color basically the whole thing, except I'll stop at the stitching, and I'm going to do it a little bit raggedy up by where the grass, you can see the blades of grass, and then I'm just going to fill in everywhere else. Okay, a little bit more over here. All right. And then for the sky, I'm going to put light balmy blue, and I'm just going to go all the way around like I did with the green. Now you don't have to do this at all, but I'm going to do it because I like how it looks. I'm just going to fill in everything else that doesn't have any color with light balmy blue. And that's the mushroom. All right, so now for the squirrel, I'm going to use light and dark smoky slate, because that's what the squirrels are around me. I know some people have black, some people have brown and gray, but the squirrels by me are gray. All right, I'm just going to add a little bit of dark smoky slate on the bottom, and then I'm just going to do the rest with light smoky slate. I'm going to add a touch of polished pink next to his smile for cheeks, and then I'll just go over it with the smoky slate, and it just kind of makes it a little bit more blended in. This little hand. Okay. And that's the squirrel. Alright. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the mushroom to the scallop circle with liquid glue. Alright. And I'm going to get some of the Balmy blue and white double stitched ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a knot around the bottom here. I'd say there's about a 1/2 inch of DSP underneath it, underneath the bottom of the ribbon. I'm just going to put it under, and then I'm just going to tie a knot, trying to keep it tight. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to try to twist it so that I can get the good part up. Here, the back is good. Okay. And then I'm just going to clip that off. Okay. And then I'm going to put a glue dot right under the knot, just so it doesn't move around. Okay, and then we're going to get dimensionals, and we're going to put our mushroom on. Oh goodness. Oh well, I'm going to have to waste. No, it's fine. Okay. And I'm just going to center this between the ribbon and the top of the box. Okay, and as for the squirrel, I'm going to put him right over here, but I want to pop him up, so I'm going to have to do 2 minis over here on top of each other. Okay, so I'm going to stack, I'm going to stack mini dimensionals over here on the tail, because I have to bring it up to the level of the mushroom that was popped up. Okay, and then just single ones on right here, because that will be on the circles. So I'm just going to put that. Make sure he's standing straight, right like that. Just making sure he's on there. I should have put one behind his head too, because he's kind of tilting there. There we go. Okay, so put 4 behind the tail, stacked up, and just 2 on his body. Now I'm going to put in the Nestle Crunch egg and one of the, you could just put more candy if you wanted to, but I'm going to put another one of the lip balms in there. Alright, and then I'm going to make sure that the sides match up here when I push it together. And I'm going to punch holes, 2 sets. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to take glittered organdy ribbon and put it through and tie a bow. Alright, and then I'm going to take our Love You, and I'm just going to glue it right up here onto that top piece. Just hold the ribbon out of the way and just put that down right in the... And you could write whatever you want. I wanted to write Spring is Everywhere, but I couldn't find a tag that would fit the words and fit up here, so I just did Love You. Okay. And for the final touch, I'm going to put some solid faceted gems in Balmy Blue next to this sentiment. I'm just going to use 2 large ones. One there. And one there. And then that kind of balances out the width the whole way, since the sentiment is small. Alright, and that's it. My email is below, along with the links to my shop and to my blog that has all of the instructions written out. And if you're going to purchase anything under $150, please put that in. And have a great day and weekend. I will see you next week. Bye.